So we will get started, and this is funny because it's our first time ever serving drinks on Fargo Talks, and I wanted to have somebody on that appreciates a drink.
Absolutely.
So Christian Morgan, here you are.
Here I am.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me today, Jeff.
My pleasure. It's this will be fun, and it's just unscripted. It is literally we just shoot the shit, and I've seen that this year my 8th, 9th time we've done it, and the more you're just you and just do your thing because you have a great story. You have a great story. You do. And we became fast friends about a year ago.
We did.
Was it a home run offer? What was it? What was it for Pineda?
Yeah. So when you and I met, I was the managing broker of Forever Home.
Forever Home.
Yeah.
And you took it from how many agents did you hire and what amount of time? Because I've never seen someone, you are like a recruiting machine.
Yeah. So I got hired on at 100 agents as the managing broker. Prior to that, I was with them for about 1.5 years, 2 years as an agent. And then once we got to 100 agents, my broker at the time, Nick Devitt, was like, I need somebody to help come in and, handle all the recruitment and the day-to-day operations for the brokerage. And so at first I was like, does this really fit my position and my experience? But then I had somebody that was a senior member of the home run offer team make the suggestion like, hey, I don't think there's a better person to do this than Christian because of his, experience with finance as well as I have, a business degree. So It was a good fit.
Yeah.
And I really loved everything about it once I got jump started into it and I got my broker salesperson license and the rest was history. So to answer your question, I came on at 100 and we grew it to 190 in about 10 months time.
So 90 agents in 10 months.
Yeah.
That's pretty freaking good.
I'd like to think so too.
I know you pay yourself, but own that one, my friend. Give yourself some grace. That's phenomenal. Mindy, what can we do for you? Make noise. Go ahead. No, make noise. You're fine.
Please, go ahead.
Go ahead. Pound away.
Get the drinks going.
Please. If that's all, oh my gosh, no, go. You're fine. It's to me, I love the fact that you are engaging, but also you were grabbing people out of the industry, like big time, getting people out of the industry, which was phenomenal. Yeah. Is that because of just prior relationships? Is it people were referring you once it snowballed? That's a lot of people in a short amount of time, a lot of agents.
I think that a lot of it had to do with we did have a younger demographic at that brokerage. I used to make the joke that we were the nightlife brokerage because literally everybody in nightlife was at that company.
Yeah.
And that just had a lot to do with, the younger people we had there. And it's an easy transition in Las Vegas to go from selling $10,000 bottle service to selling, a $400,000 or $500,000 home or even more, right? So a majority of my people were coming over from nightlife, and I've actually seen it become just a stepping stone for people getting into real estate, or they go into mortgage lending outside of that, right?
Well, it was just this flood of people, and I've talked with other guests on here about it, that there was this flood of post, COVID, guys and girls that were ridiculously attractive, in the industry, doing bottle service, whatever. And next thing you know, hey, I'm a realtor.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And for you, it was just all of a sudden you see all these gorgeous people at your office. I'm going, what the hell is going on here?
Those what was it, Tuesdays and Thursday meetings were, they were absolutely legendary. And so what I took away from my time at that position was that when you have a brokerage, having a sense of community and having an engagement among your agents is one of the things that you need to foster in order to run a successful brokerage. And so another thing that really had put us over the top at Forever Home was obviously Ryan Pineda taking off on social media. And I know that when COVID hit and everybody was stuck in the house, he decided to go all in on social media, all in on TikTok. And so that really had grown his following. And, prior to him doing that, I had seen him become one of the only people in Las Vegas that said, you know what? I'm hiring a full-time videographer, photographer to follow me around and just make content. And so what I saw was back in 2020, this advent of the social media real estate agent.
Oh, and he's just a monster.
No, absolutely.
Ryan is and he's the guy that was told what to do. I he works with Think Media, and that's who I use now. They're the best in the country as far as I'm concerned with YouTube and video strategy. And he did everything they told him to do. Mm-hmm. And from that, I think, and I know that was a big part of what catapulted him. And he dedicated the time and the money and the resources, and now he's, still just destroying.
Absolutely.
Oh, that looks fantastic.
Yeah. I see the smoke going out.
Looks
Yeah.
Amazing. Mindy. Oh, Mindy. Yeah, we're going to become fast friends,
Yep.
Mindy.
I'm
this
looking
is
forward to this.
glorious. I think that stuff went different there. And so now you're at Moore Realty, and you're the state broker.
I am. So I'm I'm the Nevada principal broker for the state. So I'm the principal broker
by the way.
for the state of Nevada.
You have a giant business card.
Try to say that 10 times fast, right? So no, I am responsible for Moore Realty and their operations in the state of Nevada. A little bit about how that came to be was after Forever Home had made the decision to shut its doors and make the merger with Real Broker, I went to EXP and I managed a team. And I'll tell you, and this is something that we can get into a little bit later, that managing a successful real estate team and managing a brokerage are two extremely different things that you can do with your career.
Opposite.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I went to go manage the Rivlin Group over for Alex Rivlin at
Alex
EXP.
is a stud.
Absolutely.
Absolute
Shout out
stud.
Alex.
Yep.
Had a great time over there. Got to really learn the ins and outs of a dynamic real estate team. And while I was over there, I had actually was receiving offers on LinkedIn from Moore Realty because of the exposure that I had with Ryan and Forever Home. And so they had known who I was. And so when I first started getting offers from them, I was like, you know what? I just started a team. I think that I'm going to settle with this for now and kind of, hone into my skills on this front. And they just didn't stop making me offers. And so like after the third offer they made, I'm like, okay, this is way too much for me to pass up. And in a way, it was just extremely, I guess, flattering to know that there was a company that saw the massive growth that I had done for, somebody that had a similar business model, and they wanted to recreate that here in Nevada. So a little bit about the company. They were founded in 2017 by Paul and Denise Knighton. They are one of the top brokerages in Oregon with over 1,000 agents in that market. And since 2021, they expanded into the Las Vegas Valley.
Got it.
Okay. And so thank you so much. Is it time?
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
If I could reach across the table with you, I would.
Drink up.
No, that's an old fashioned. You can tell it's the smokiness in there.
Oh, it's wonderful. Thank you. Even on
Cheers
plastic
to
cups.
Mindy.
Cheers to Mindy. Now let's pause for a second because you're somewhere with Forever Home, massive, stratospheric growth. You got your ankles taken off from under you there. You just did. And then you go to one of the top performing EXP teams in town, and Alex is a stud. What was it that really, and again, not taking anything away from Alex, but he offers, but what was it that Moore had that just tickled you? Like that part of your brain to go, yeah, this makes sense. I think
that it was just a matter of being a broker versus being a team lead. And being a broker, you get to essentially be the face of the operation for the state, right? And so for me, I enjoyed my time with the team, but I didn't feel that there was any type of growth available outside of just, being the assistant team lead or, my official title was the director of agent growth. And with Moore Realty, it was a corporation that has aspirations to be in all 50 states. Like they want to be in every major market. They want to take their business model, which I feel has the absolute most value for agents that want to be independent and operate teams than any other brokerage I've heard in town. And so to me, it was if I ever want to move to Florida in the future, or if I ever want to step into a role above being a broker, I had that opportunity with this company. So one of the things that I've talked about with corporate and the people that run Moore is that I've already showed tremendous growth just in the 3 or 4 months I've been officially in this position. And to be quite frank, I didn't become the official broker until about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was having to deal with transferring the other broker out. She was giving me a really hard time about it.
No.
Yeah.
Drama in real estate? That never happens,
right,
Christian.
Never, right.
It's always smooth sailing.
If that was only true, right?
Hell, yeah.
But ended up getting that taken care of. But in that short period of time, I had 6 agents when I started, and we're now sitting at 26 people. And that's only in a couple of months of me being in the role.
That's great.
And so I looked at it last month, and we were actually the number 3 brokerage in terms of total agent movement throughout Las Vegas. So
that's hysterical.
Yeah,
that's great.
It was really nice to see that.
What? In your role now, because you have your own book of business, you're growing the brand, you're recruiting. What's like the main factor that motivates you in the morning when you get out of bed?
building a community similar to what I had at Forever Home.
I thought so.
I would say that. I would say building a community similar to what I had at Forever Home, and just being able to say that I grew a business from a handful of people to several hundred. And I think that with the business model that they have and everything that this company offers, that's truly something that I am capable of.
You are. Where's your gut tell you that you're going to be at end of the year?
At least 60.
Yeah.
My original goal was to hit like 50 or 52. But as time goes on, it's going to, and the thing is it gets easier as you get more people, right? So the first 10 was the hardest. And my sales pitch to the first 10 is a lot different than it was from 10 to 20, right? And so with my first 10 people, I got real vulnerable. And I told them, I'm like, hey, this is a new endeavor. This is my plan. I'm not going to forget the people that I started with and the ones that actually helped make me make this happen on the ground floor. And so that immediately got me to my 10 people because I showed that level of trust and vulnerability to them in the beginning. And my agents know that if there's ever a question they have or there's a concern, I'm going to fight for them no matter what it is, right? Like if you're in the right and I know that you're in the right, I'm not going to stop until we get the result that you're looking for. And that's one of the things about me. And that's probably why I've been so successful in sales and in real estate is because I'm fucking persistent.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take no for an answer.
It's something that from my vantage point with title and escrow, when an agent comes to me and says, I'm looking to move, number one, it's lack of broker support.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah. That
the broker does a shuck and jive to that agent and tells them everything they want to hear to get the fanny in the seat and to be getting the, transaction fee, or, now there's not that many splits, but the transaction fee, and then gone.
Yep.
After that. But you're much more hands-on.
Classic over promise and under deliver, right? And with me, if I have a new agent that just signs up, so I got a girl right now, she's a brand new agent. I was talking with her when we were over at EXP, and she came over and started with me at More, right? So she's a brand new agent, calls me all the time with questions, right? Excuse me. The way I look at it is that when she calls me with a question and I don't answer it, I feel bad. I feel guilty that I am not, even if I'm in the middle of dinner or something, like I'll text her. I'll be like, hey, look, in the middle of something, if I can text it to you, let me know. If not, I'll give you a call back after I'm done. And I think that's really what it is like, I feel bad if I have their business and I'm not following through on my promise, right? Because they made promises to me when they signed the independent contractor agreement, right? And that's a two-way street. And so I don't ever want to get the reputation in town as a broker that I don't want to be a revolving door. And I've seen this with several other brokerages where people will come on and like less than 6 months later, there's somebody else.
Puppy mills.
Right.
They're puppy mills.
Yeah.
And that's all. The broker just cares about numbers, and they don't care if they lose 30 people as long as they're at 400, 500, 600.
Yeah.
For the month. They know what they can make off of their friends and family deals, which are 1 to 2 to 3 a year. And that's it. And it's a flawed model. Full disclosure. Yep. I know that a lot of them, I have clients in a lot of those brokerages. They're changing. I don't know if they could change fast enough with the advent of AI and what's going on now that we talked about that stuff. It's like, you better get on the train, man. You better be doing video. You better be doing podcasts. You better be putting short form video out every single day. It's a race to relevance right now. And what are you doing to capture your clients' relevance? Your clients are agents.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
What are you doing now in that race to relevance? Because you're out there a lot.
Sure.
And you are very good at being a storyteller. It helps that you're ridiculously attractive. Like you look like you just worked part-time at Abercrombie & Fitch or whatever and came off of there. And Diana, your girlfriend's gorgeous. So it's like both of you, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Barbie. Well, her parents call us Barbie and Ken.
Well, as they should. As they should. It's like you're both like genetically engineered somewhere. It's bananas.
I would have never met her if it wasn't for Forever Home. And
really?
I would have never have met her and had her in my life if it wasn't for the connections that I made at that brokerage. And I'm reminded of that almost every day.
That's super cool.
Yeah. And it was a big part of my life. And to be honest, going back to what you were saying, when you're running a real estate brokerage, I've realized this lately, it's a lot like you're running a gym, right? 80% of the people are not showing up and you're just collecting your free rent. And then you have your 20% that are actually showing up and closing deals and actually utilizing the broker and the services provided, right?
Sorry, I'm moaning because
what do you got?
Luxardo cherries. And they're like If they're from Italy, correct me if I'm wrong, Mindy, but it's like, I have them at home.
Wow.
The company is like over 100 years old from Italy, and they're like candied maraschino cherries.
I've never had one of these before.
Oh, wow. Dude, it's a
Wow.
game changer.
Yeah.
And they're in the bourbon. Forget it. It's game over.
My
It's absolute.
my stepdad's going to see this podcast and be so jealous.
It's absolute game
He
over.
loves whiskey.
And well, I just think, like, I saw Rogan, and I mean, he's smoking weed with Elon Musk.
Yeah.
I'm not going to smoke weed with anybody yet. But I'm like, why don't I have a drink? So you're my first one. I'm like, okay, Christian's a perfect one to have. We've had drinks before. There's nobody I bring on here that I wouldn't have drinks with.
Yeah.
If they're sober, it's someone that I would have dinner with.
Right.
Not a lunch, not fucking coffee. Come on. But, you know, I was raised by Roman Catholic Italians in upstate New York.
Yep.
So all my friends, it's like, if you don't have a meal with somebody, you don't get to know them. If you don't have drinks with somebody, you don't get to know them. So let's make it more personal. Let's get somebody who has amazing bartending experience, who can do this in her sleep. She probably has nightmares of making smoked old fashions. And she's like, Jeff, for the love, please give me something more like,
Right.
More challenging to make for you. But here we are and doing this. So thank you.
Yeah. I'm really excited. I've been excited for the past month. We've had this scheduled, and I know I asked you a couple times. I'm like, hey, whenever you got the time, do it. One of the things I do want to say, because when we first started talking, I had other title reps in town and it wasn't just title reps, it was vendors across the board trying to come in and create relationships with my agents. And when you and I had first met, I had kind of put on a suit of armor, right? I'm like,
you absolutely did. And rightfully so.
Yeah, I remember the
rightfully
first call.
So.
First call I had with you, I was driving down Buffalo, and it was Sean Bob that had made the recommendation. And if anybody else had made it, I would have been like, whatever. But I said, if this guy's making the recommendation, I got to at least hear him out, right? Yeah. And so I had talked to you on the phone. I loved your energy, and I'm like, all right, let me see what he has to offer. And when I had actually spoken with you the first time and you showed me the data and the value and the personality and the tenacity of having a badass title rep, I was like, all right, this guy's in.
Thanks,
I definitely want to add him into the fold, right?
You're
So
the
I don't want it to all be all about me here and how great I am, but also I have a great title rep sitting across from me right now.
I appreciate that. It's
sure.
It's something that I love what I do because of stuff like this, and because I'm given at my company, Fidelity, Julie Cimarelli, my boss, just gives me room to run, man.
Yeah. Isn't that a great feeling?
Oh, yeah. It's the best.
100%.
And it's more about, let's make it work. Let's make it work. She has yet to tell me no about anything I brought to her.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I'm going to do a podcast. Go do it. Hey, I want to have drinks in the podcast. Go do it.
Yep.
And it's more about, that's how you grow, is you encourage your people. Thank you, Mindy. Thank you. 1,000 times. Thank you. You want to encourage your people to grow. And I know that you do that, as a broker, but you do that as a human being.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter about if they have their license with you or not. This is a very small town.
Well, I can give you an example. I had an agent that used to be with me at Forever Home text me on Friday, and he said, Christian, is there any way that you can show a rental for me? And I was like, you know what? I was like, well, what time and where is it, first off? And he told me where it's at. I'm like, yeah. I said, I can absolutely do that. I'm more than happy to do that for you. And that's just because, wouldn't you want somebody to do that for you if you're in that situation?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, right? Like, I've been on vacation before, and I've had a client text me when they promised me that they didn't want to see anything, or they weren't going to be, and guess what? They needed somebody to show the property, and I didn't have somebody there for me. And then they ended up going with another agent. And that's the worst feeling in the entire world. So my sense of, responsibility does not limit to just my agents. I'm here for everybody. If we've had a relationship in the past and you've been one of my agents, doesn't matter if you're my agent now, I still have that relationship with you for the rest of my life. And that was one of the things that one of the reasons why I accepted the position was because I wanted to have these relationships with agents. I want to be that person that when you start your real estate career, you look back and you're like, Christian Morgan was the person that helped me fill out an RPA. Christian Morgan was the first person that helped me show my first house, right? Because to me, that's a lifelong relationship that I will always, cherish. And so to me, that has a lot to do with my motivation as well.
Everybody in Las Vegas is full of shit.
100%.
Everybody in Las Vegas is trying to sell you something.
Yep.
Right? Like, I love my dentist, but he's trying to sell me on all this other stuff. And so you have to earn that right. You You have to earn that right to where you don't even have to ask. People are coming to you.
Right.
And to me, and I'm not blowing smoke up your skirt, but it's unheard of for someone to call another broker to say, I have a rental. Would you show it for me? Because most brokers would say, suck it.
Yeah.
Wait, let me check my phone. Last time I checked on my roster, you're not an agent of mine, so no. And a rental, double no.
Yep.
Suck it. But you're you're Johnny Appleseed. You're Johnny Appleseed, and you're just saying, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this, and some seeds germinate and some don't, and that's okay. But I know that because I know you pretty well by now that you sleep well at night.
Yeah.
Because you're not burning bridges.
No.
You're not motivated by money. How old are you?
28.
Oh God. Yeah.
I think I'm the youngest broker in Las Vegas.
God.
I don't quote me on that, but I think I am.
We could check that, but I would say you are. But it's like you're in your late 20s. My God, I have t-shirts older than you, but you're an old soul in terms of your outlook on life and how you treat people.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think a lot of it has to do with my Midwestern values and where I was raised. Like you said, everybody in Vegas is full of shit, right? Back home in Michigan, there is a lot more of a sense of community. There isn't the rat race, so to speak, of trying to, one up each other. And I think that a lot of it has to do with that. I really like when people say, you gotta know what your time is worth, right? Like you mentioning a lot of brokers wouldn't go and show a property for somebody, just even if they're not on their team, right? And to me, I love that. I get where they're coming from with your time is worth $200 an hour, $1,000 an hour, right? But at the same time, that really removes the emotion and humanity out of the equation as well. When you look at it like that, like, yes, my time is worth so much, but how much of my time am I dedicating to being a good person?
If you don't have a growth mindset as a realtor, you will bust your ass for $40,000 a year for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And you will go to bed at night exhausted. And you'll be like, why am I only making this much money?
Yep.
And it's because you're only thinking about yourself and you're not sharing with anybody. And you're so consumed with what other people think about you. And that is the most self-defeating mentality you can ever want to adopt in your life.
Yeah.
And I'm open about this. Like, I'm 53. I don't grind. I'll break a hip for Christ's sake. I don't fucking grind anything.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
I don't grind. I work smart. I'm tactical with what I do.
Yeah.
I am all about failing forward and doing stuff. Like, I love doing these podcasts. And I'm now pushing out every day, about to be twice a day, 7 days a week. I'm pushing out content.
Yeah.
But it's bringing my friends in. Whether we work together or not, I have people coming in here and we're just talking.
Yeah.
Because when you and I talk, I'm like, my God, that's so good. My God, we should, and that should be recorded.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm just kind of putting my money where my mouth is to say, let's record this. And oh, by the way, we get to have Woodford Reserve smoked. Mindy, again, this is bananas.
It's delicious.
Like, how's Fargo Talks? Christian Morgan, it was delicious.
Yeah.
It'd be like the best testimonial ever. It'd be the best testimonial ever.
I'll leave that review for you.
That'd be fantastic.
It was delicious.
I just think that's the direction. Charles Barkley has he was on 60 Minutes and he talks about this. And I adopted this. I say it openly. I know I'm on the back 9 of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm on hole 10, but I know I'm on the back 9 of my life. And with my mom passing away recently, it's like that really gave me focus on who I want to spend my time with and how deep I want to go with them.
Right.
And if I'm not doing stuff like this, it's AI, or I'm home and I'm eating gummies and I'm thinking about podcasts and AI while I'm watching Mandalorian.
Yeah.
High as fuck and loving every second of it. Loving every second.
The newest season, any good?
Fantastic.
Really?
Just
okay.
like Baby Yoda, Grogu comes into his own season 3.
Okay.
Oh my God. It's absolutely fantastic.
Okay.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
My lip hits this thing and I feel like I'm in like I feel like it's Pornhub. And I'm like, no, I don't. And no offense to anybody that, swings that way, but I don't. So I'm like, this is totally like characteristic of me. So
yeah.
I can't do it. But I think that you're very good at putting yourself out there, because I love that you'll have such a menagerie of content. It'll be a training class that you have, and then fast forward to you're out with Diana and you're at Tao Beach Club or something like that. And you're funny, you're cute because you're just like, hey, here I am. And here's like, you've got your phone and here's this good looking head. And then there's like 3 ripping hot blondes over your shoulder.
Yeah.
And you're just like, this is my front seat, motherfucker. And you just, you have a view right now to what's going on.
Yeah. You know, being in Vegas in your 20s as a guy, can't really beat it, you know.
You're living the life. Oh,
yeah,
stop it. Dude, you're living your best. This is when you have to go, those were the days. You're living those days right now.
Absolutely. I mean, I look at the guys that I went to high school with and they all, you know, pretty much peaked in college and they message me and they're like, how are you doing this in your late 20s? Like, oh my God, Vegas must have been the move. And then people I don't like from high school message me and tell me, hey, is there any chance you can hook me up with a table at Tao Beach Club on Sunday? And I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah,
I can't.
No, not happening.
Yeah.
It is.
Remember what you said to me last day of senior year?
It's karma's a bitch.
Right?
Yeah, payback's a bitch. Karma's a bitch. It is. This town is people that don't understand it. You know that. And it's funny. I track the analytics on all my stuff, and YouTube. I'm starting to do very well with viewership. 38% of my audience is Great Britain.
Interesting.
Right?
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I don't know because I don't know how real estate is done in the UK, but there's something there way different.
They don't own a house there. My friend Jason told me they don't usually have a house there until like their 30s. And it's so much more expensive and it's much more different of a process.
I don't understand where that's coming from, but when I looked, I would think of like be Mexico or like other like inbound or Japan, China are big here in Vegas.
Yeah.
Nope. It is straight. It's the UK. They love me in the UK. Who knows? Maybe we'll do Fargo Talks, London sometime.
Yeah.
We'll all go over there.
Yeah.
We could tour the Guinness factory and do a podcast.
Get Big Ben in the background.
Get Big Ben. Yeah. No, we'd have to do, what's like a really good, like, is there bourbon that's made over there? Or no, it's all Kentucky. Where's like, is any bourbon, like good bourbon made over like in Europe? Or is it all Kentucky? Because if that's the case, we have to do like a Kentucky bourbon, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and you're coming. And we just do like a giant, like, and we just like a giant party. But it's funny that you just start putting it out there, and next thing you know, you've got an audience. And YouTube is no longer rewarding people with lots of subscribers. I'm at like 199 subscribers, and that's it. But like I said, I'm averaging, because I'm putting up a short every single day.
Yeah.
Every freaking day, 7 days a week, that now I'm getting averaging at least 1,000 views.
Yeah.
Which is hysterical to me.
Yeah.
I think I'm halfway good at what I'm talking about, but it's also my friends I'm bringing in to come in and talk. And there's no agenda. There's no questions. If we work together, great. If you use Uncle Jimmy's used title shack is your title and escrow company, okay, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I care more about you as a person.
Same.
And let's talk about you.
Yeah.
So with you moving forward, what are some of what's like the biggest challenge that you see, and how are you overcoming that challenge?
Well, I think that the biggest challenge that I've had difficulty with so far is who is more Realty, right? You're starting a new brokerage in a town where reputation is everything, right? And so my biggest challenge has been getting the brand out there and getting people to know what we're offering. So I know I've mentioned it a couple of times, but let me break it down for you and reason why I joined with them. So transaction fee brokerage, we charge $130 a month, $395 per transaction, and we're going to cap our agents out at $4,000 for the year. So what that means is that after you've done 10 transactions, you're going to hit your cap, and then we're only going to charge you $50 per transaction after that. So like all the other transaction brokerages, that's a really great value for what you're getting, because we provide the Chime, we provide the lead sources, we provide AAA office space in downtown Summerlin, right? Like the CRM, all the things that these other brokerages provide. Like we even have more university, Canva templates, every single thing that other brokerages offer, we do. And we have a podcast room too. So with all that being said, I'm like, this is a great value. And then they told me, in addition to all that, your transaction fee covers a transaction coordinator for the entire deal. And I looked at the director of operations when he told me that during the third interview I went on. I'm like, how does that, that's included? Like
awesome.
that's a $500 value in itself.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. And so when I heard that, I'm like, the value is insane for two reasons. And number one is that cap. And number two is you're getting a transaction coordinator to fill out all of that paperwork. So you can spend more time and more of your capital going out and closing more deals,
Amen.
Right? Because the last thing a real estate agent wants to do is the paperwork, right? Like who wants to sit and fill out, the residential disclosure guide or the purchaser's receipt of the CIC?
Kill me
Nobody
now.
wants to do that.
Kill me now. I'd rather go to the dentist.
Yeah. I mean, they even open escrow for you and start the SkySlope file. To me, it was blown away. And so when I heard all of this and they offered to put me in a position to educate and support the agents, I just knew that it was a recipe for success.
It's awesome. Are you, hold on one second. Hey, do you want a drink? Mindy, could you please make Cindy a drink? Would you like one? You want one? You sure? All right. Could you please make Cindy one? I think because she's dying for one. Cindy has an AA meeting that she's got to make in like a half an hour at St. Patrick's of the Divine over on Valley Verde. So she's going to have just one quick one before she gets her 45-day sobriety chip. So let's talk a little bit about your growth. And given your track record, you're going to take this thing, is going to go high fast. Yeah. You're at, not arguably, it is the best shared office space in town is WeWork.
Absolutely.
Kombucha as much as you want to. It's just the atmosphere there is amazing. Yep. If you're going at the rate you're going, again, not holding you anything, but do you see yourself taking like full on brick and mortar that you own yourself, by next year at this time? Or what are your goals that you have? Because what I'd love to do is, I would love to have you come back, but definitely like 1 year from now, have you come back and go, dude, a year ago, I was at WeWork. Now I'm here and doing this, and I'm at 125 agents and, the whole thing.
So WeWork actually is quite an amazing space for our company for a couple of reasons. And the number one is because, like I said earlier, it's the 80-20 rule with agents, right? Like 80% of them aren't coming in, really aren't doing anything. You're collecting free rent. And the 20% that use it, the WeWork helps facilitate that perfectly because they're not always coming into the office, right? Like I might have one person there on Monday and they're not coming back until 2 weeks later, right? But they're still doing deals. Another reason why it's really great is because it's 24/7 access and we have sort of receptionists there for us. So we don't have to pay a receptionist because there's somebody there to greet them at the desk, right? There's somebody there to collect the mail and give it to me when I walk by. And so that's a really amazing thing is like, so our rent also is paying for our administrative fees for, the receptionist. So awesome. That's awesome. And to answer your question, I've actually talked to corporate about this because we have already grown to the point where that's actually something that we needed to talk about. And so the plan right now is we're going to get to 50 agents easily by the end of the year. Once we get to the 50 agents, we're going to go ahead and get another office at the WeWork in Town Square. Nice. And then I'm going to bring on a sales manager. Nice. And that person is going to manage the office in Henderson and I'll be managing the office in Summerlin.
Good for you.
Yeah. So that's what the plan is then. And then once we hit 100, then we'll talk about either Southwest or North Las Vegas, whichever market makes the most sense. But as of right now, there aren't official plans for a brick and mortar just to expand to more WeWork spaces.
Which makes complete sense because it gives you the flexibility to scale.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
The thing that blows me away about you is that and I'm open about this, is there is this culture of agents, broker who are in their late 20s that just, you've got your shit together, man. And you might not think you do, but you've got your shit together. When I was 28, 29, 34, 35, my head was so far up my ass with ego and materialistic stuff that I was like, it was so self-defeating looking back on it. What is it that keeps you so focused on a daily basis? So let me kind of answer that with a story. The whole reason I moved to Las Vegas was this was always the move for me. Like I came here for the first time at 5 years old with my mom and my Aunt Nancy, and I was in the lazy river with my Game Boy, and I'm like, this is the way, right? And so Vegas was always the move. My mom loved coming here. It was a big thing. And so it was really ingrained in me from a young age that I wanted to move to Las Vegas. And then
So I started, Instagram and all these other things come out in the early, tens, right? And I start seeing the lifestyle that people were living in nightlife in Las Vegas. And I'm like, this is everything I want to do after I graduate. I want to be a VIP host. I want to be hanging out with beautiful women, rich people. This is what I want. And I moved out here and that's immediately what I went into. So I auditioned for all the day clubs. I wanted to be a host. And then on a side note, I'm like, you know what? I should get my real estate license as a backup. Right. Just because prior to coming out here, I was a financial analyst over at JP Morgan in Florida. Boring. And I saw all of my clients were making millions of dollars on real estate. And I'm like, you know what? Let's go out there. Let's take my hand at it at nightlife and we'll get a real estate license and we'll see what happens. Right. And so get my real estate license, audition. My first year, no opportunities really came in terms of nightlife. I just didn't have the resume for it. Well, who is the very first broker that I meet other than Nick, who was Las Vegas nightlife legend, right? And so I tell him, listen, I want to get into nightlife and I want to do this, that, and the other thing. He said, look, you're way too talented at what you're doing to put yourself into nightlife. Put the money and time and the effort into becoming a successful real estate agent. And I promise you all of those other perks that you're looking for are going to come with it.
Who was it?
Who was it what?
Who was a broker? Nick?
It was Nick Devitt.
Oh yeah, Nick.
He looked at me and he told me, he said, you know what? You're much better off being in real estate. I've talked to you for about a month. And I actually was introduced to him by my cousin who he was her executive VIP host and her boyfriend, which was a resident DJ at Hakkasan Group. And I met the guy inside of the DJ booth at Hakkasan before I even moved out here.
That's awesome.
And so anyway, he kind of steered me away from nightlife and more into real estate. And then as we grew that company and I met more people, those connections started to come through. And to be honest with you, how did I get my head on so straight? I met Nick Devitt and Ryan Pineda. It was 100% why. They're only 4 years older than me. I think they're 32 now, both of them, because their birthdays are like, his was just yesterday. Like their birthdays are this week. And they showed me what I could be in my late 20s and my early 30s. Yeah. And you are who you surround yourself with. And I had good friends in high school and college, but I never had anybody in my life like them that really had the blueprint of becoming a multimillionaire in your late 20s, early 30s. And that set the stage for me. And so after that, that set my mentality for the rest of my 20s, was meeting the two of them.
I love that at your age, you're a long play guy. You think long term. And, things didn't work out with Ryan and Nick and you, but you have nothing but good things to say about them. As they have nothing but good things to say about you. I would think, it's a small town. I would have heard it.
Oh, yeah,
if they were shitting all over you, I would have heard it by now. And they haven't. And in this town...
Well, I'm actually listing. So some of his listings come through my brokerage, Ryan's.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There's a certain type of investment deal that he does, and he has an agent that handles those deals, and those come through my brokerage. Awesome. So yeah, it does come full circle.
It's usually, again, I'm stereotyping, but when I was 27, 28, 29, if things didn't work out, you're dead to me. You're dead to me. I'll kill you in your own kitchen in front of your family.
Yeah.
Goodbye. But I've learned with age, that's not how you treat people. That, you know what? As long as you sleep well every night, it's okay. Never burn a bridge. Yeah. If they screw you over, you know what? You pray for the Lord to soften their heart and you grow. Yeah. And that's it. So you are, like I said before, you're an old soul. You're like a 50-year-old guy in his late 20s. Yeah. And if you and Diana ever have kids, it's like all of them will be in picture frames at Hobby Lobby. Oh, yeah. Like all of them. Forget it. Just forget it.
Yeah.
But I think for you right now, what are some of the big challenges that you're facing?
I don't think that there's too many with how everything's really been going on, other than just getting the brand out there. And I have, in the past couple months since I started this position, really laid the groundwork for the leads to be coming in, right? Like one of the major things that I did was I created a relationship with Key Realty School where I get to go in 6 times per quarter and I get to do a presentation to like 50 plus people as to why they should join More Realty. And so, I watched other companies that do these presentations and they get up there in front of the students.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. Hey, we're number one. You should join us because we're number one. Me.
It's a cock measuring contest.
Yeah, 100%. And I watch these presentations. I'm like, there is no value that's being provided. And so like the number one rule of anything in sales is you always provide value and then ask for the business, Amen. Right? And so to me, I'm like, okay, well, let's get up there. Let's answer the number one question to every single new real estate agent. Can you guess what that is? How do I generate leads? Every single new agent in the world has that one question. Hey, where do I get leads or how do I generate leads? All right, I'm going to do a presentation where I'm going to show you 15 different ways to do it. Everything from AI to cold texting and open houses. And so I run them through that. And then after that, I explain to them, hey, look, this is what we have to offer at More. And we have a robust mentorship and training program. And we have one even for investors, right? So I don't limit my agents to just doing typical residential real estate transactions, right? If you're a real estate agent, you should know how to invest in real estate agents. Invest in real estate because your investor clients and working with investors is going to make you 10, 20 times more money than you would just working with the residential side of things. And so, and even for yourself, right? Like this is one thing that I learned from Brian, which is like, if I go into a listing appointment and somebody's willing to sell their house for 60% of the market value, why don't I buy that myself or sell it to somebody else?
Amen.
And these traditional brokerages, I'm not going to name any, but you know them, they don't allow their agents to do this and they don't even talk about it. And it blows my mind. And so to me, it was like, let's come up with a mentorship program for the agents that want to do residential real estate. We'll get you trained in that. And then I have some of the top investors at my brokerage that can show these agents, if they want to do it, how they're successfully doing it in our marketplace. And I don't know any other brokerage in town that offers anything like that.
Who's the kid with a hat? He does a chicken
Ray
shack
Rodriguez.
Stuff. Yeah. The kid's a little stud, man.
23 years old. And
the kid's a stud.
Or is he 23? I think he's 22, 23, early 20s. He came across my desk at Forever Home 2 years ago. And he looked across from me and he says, Christian, you know what? It's nothing special. I'm getting into real estate right now. I've got $10,000 to my name and I want to become one of the top real estate investors and agents in Las Vegas. And I said, okay. And everybody says that to me, right? I hear it all the time. And this motherfucker went out and actually did it at 23 years old. I'm sorry for 22 Rams, but I'm saying 23. And just the amount of respect that I have for him is unreal. I was at his event at Chicken Shack a couple of weeks ago, and I was blown away that he handed Sean Bob an award.
I saw that.
You saw that?
I saw that.
Like, he's that young making that type of money and has that kind of heart.
Yeah.
And that's why him and I get along, is because he calls me, I'd do anything for him. And it's for any of my agents, but him too. You know what I mean? Because he was somebody that believed in me, and that's somebody that has a great reputation that aligned themselves with me at my brokerage. And so that's kind of what I did in the beginning, was elite capture, right? Like I'm trying to capture elite people in Las Vegas, because if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me, right? And so that was a little bit of my strategy with starting out, was I want to get people that are actually notoriable in town. And if they see the value, you build it, they will come. Is
he pitching there, or does he have other people come up and pitch? What's his thing that he's got going? I've seen just like quick shorts of what he's doing.
So with a lot of these real estate investor events, it's really just a networking opportunity with a little bit of some educational opportunities in there as well. Like, so the Chicken Shack event specifically, it was a bit of an educational piece, because Ray got up there and he talked about how he's acquiring deals, how he's acquiring funding. So he rifled through that for about 20 minutes. And then really the rest of it was just networking, because when you're networking with people in Las Vegas and you're going to these events for investors, you have to meet people that are hard money lenders, inspectors, contractors, private money. You start doing enough deals, people want to give you money. And I don't think that a lot of people understand that. Like, once you start building momentum as a real estate investor and other people see your success, they'll start handing you their pocketbook. Here, Here's 25 grand. Here's $100,000, however long you need it for. And so I think that's what a lot of these events are for as well, is to, create those relationships.
I got to go.
Yeah. You should.
Let me know the next one. Give me a heads up as you can.
Absolutely.
And I'll go. The funny part is that it's Thursday night is when he has them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm with my daughter who's 13 every Thursday night from 5:30 to 7:30. And she said to me, which brought tears in my eyes, I think I want to get into real estate. I'm like, oh, honey.
Mixed feelings?
Honey, oh no, I'm down.
You're
I'm
down
like,
for it? Okay.
Please. What I've told her, I said, honey, there's several different facets to real estate. I'm in title and escrow. There's lending. You could be a realtor. You could be an investor.
Right.
There's a lot of different stuff. So I want to expose her to every facet of real estate possible. Every tentacle that shoots out from the torso of real estate is what I want to do for her to give her the education. And I want to bring her to that to go, honey, here's people that are working harder than anybody else in the business, because not only are they looking to acquire property, but they need the investors. They need the money to come behind that, to grab that property, to make it better, to sell it at a profit, right?
Yep.
So I have great empathy for someone that does that. And so I want to go, but I want it to be a teachable moment for my daughter to go, honey, this is a great way if you want to start, bird dogging properties. This is what you do.
Yeah.
And it is ground and pound, like the first 5 minutes of Saving Private Ryan every single day when you're an investor at that level.
Yeah.
But you get your licks in enough, you learn from that and you evolve from that. So I think it's super cool that he's with you and that's part of your brand.
Yeah.
Kudos to you for recognizing that and for him to say, I want to stay with you and let's keep doing this thing together.
Yeah.
Right. So, all right. We're good on time. I love it. What are you looking for? Who's the perfect agent that wants to work with you or that you want to work with at More Realty?
I mean, really, our business model fits any type of agent. It fits the agent that does maybe one deal every other year to the real estate team that does 200 plus deals a year. Really, the agent that I'm looking for does their paperwork on time, or at least they put in the order with the transaction coordinator to do it, and is just ethical. Outside of that, I'm not looking for anything specifically. Yes, I love when my agents do deals, and that's really at the end of the day what we're looking for too. But the way that our business plan is set up, it's fit for any agent. So really anybody that wants to add value to their business and pay the lowest fees in town.
I'm going to push you on that one a little bit. I want to push you. Is it somebody that is brand new? Is it somebody that's done 5 to 7 deals and they've kind of reached a plateau because they're at a puppy mill office? Is it somebody that's a super producer that's doing 10, 15 deals a month? Who is the ultimate person that you could earn the right for them to work with you when you work with them?
I mean, with everything how it works out with our model, agents that do anywhere between 6 to 12 deals per year are going to be really what makes our company run the best. So, for example, if I get a real estate team that does 100 or 200 deals a year, we're losing money on that person. But here's the thing. That person is putting 200 signs out in front of yards and 200 deals on the MLS per year to where, yeah, we might not be making money on the P&L when you look at just them, but I'm making it from the other agents that they're bringing on.
Cheaper than a billboard.
Exactly. And so to answer your question more specifically, in terms of the financials, yeah, people that are doing anywhere between 5 to 12 deals a year are going to make us the most money. But again, anybody in real estate that conducts themselves ethically and professionally is a great addition to their team. And anybody that's looking for a broker that cares about their business just as much as they do.
And the thing is, you give a shit.
Yeah,
my friend, you just care. And I
don't put my time in anything if I don't care about it. You know what I mean? Like if I give something my time, I care about it.
Have you said no to agents that have wanted to come work at your office?
There's been one.
Okay.
There's been one.
Okay.
And the reason for it is just because I knew their reputation and I had issues with paperwork in the past with them. And that's the number one thing, right? Like I want to get you paid out within a business day or two of the file closing. But if I have to hound you for paperwork for weeks on end, that's a liability at my point. at that point for me. So really, it's not something that ever really happens. It really isn't. So
I could never be a realtor again because of all the paperwork.
Yeah.
That's the part.
Well, that's why we do it all for them.
With my ADHD, man, I can't, I couldn't, I have trouble returning my emails at work. Huh, Cindy? I'm 300 emails deep every day because I just can't, I can't do it. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
This has been fun.
It has been.
I want to do this again soon.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you. I appreciate your brain of where you're at right now, and your heart is really cool.
Yeah.
And,
it was scary to accept this position and to start something new. And I had a lot of self-doubt in the beginning, but I got on my knees, I prayed to God, and I said, listen, I think that this is what's for me. Show me a sign that I'm to do this. And he did. And I'm here today. And I'm more than happy that I did this. And I know that, it's going to be a great company. It's going to be a great community. And we're here to stay. And we're not going anywhere.
You're onto something, my friend. You're definitely onto something. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.